Thanks for joining me for this edition of the Church Security Answer Man. I'm glad you're here as usual. Thanks for watching and thanks for participating. And I really appreciate those of you who leave comments, and you and I can exchange some comments back and forth that others can also read and learn from. Some of you are great with sharing things that are occurring at your church. And so today I want to get right to talking about an issue that's concerning me. You know, we worry about a lot of things in our church relative to security. And I want to talk about something that's a little bit different. And reading an article, it brought it on to my attention. I got to thinking about it. So normally we're worrying about, church leaders will say, I don't know, security team seems like a big liability to me. It could cause a problem. Somebody could get hurt, could turn people away, offend people and turn away our visitors, those kind of things. And, and then we talk about getting sued over something like, a use of force. We hurt somebody, or we deny entry to somebody, or there's a open carry issue and we're afraid of getting sued over that. All of those kind of things. We seem to think, man, the security team, when it comes to lawsuits and liability, is a big deal to have a team. And I just want to think about something that could cost us big money for not paying attention to our security duties, or relative to not having a security team. And so, and I think it could cost us big money possibly one of these days. And so let's talk about that in just a few minutes. But first, I want to talk about a story that's relative to that real quick, an incident that happened recently. I want to read these facts to you. It was a 32-year-old man is the suspect in this situation. And the victim in this was a 13-year-old female. Now, I don't want to get too much in the details, but I give you enough so that we can think about it and talk about this just a little bit. The 13-year-old female is kneeling in church, and church service is going on. She's kneeling, and a 32-year-old guy comes in, and he forcibly, what New York terms as forcibly touches her. Now, eventually, this 32-year-old man, over this incident where he comes into church and does this, eventually he's arrested and charged with sexual abuse, persistent sexual abuse of a child under 14, and second-degree harassment with physical contact, according to the church records. And this is the guy right here. Here's a picture of him. And, this is terrible, without getting into details, but him coming in and abusing one of our children right in the middle of the church service. Now think about that. How does this guy get past us? We're not paying attention to him. I don't think he was a regular. He did live near the church, but I don't think he was a regular to the church from the different articles that I was reading. But here, let's talk about this for a second. So he gets by us. He gets into this situation and abuses this 13-year-old child right in the middle of our church service. That's terrible. And so this brought to mind the reason why I wanted to talk about this quickly today with you, is this brings to mind there's so many reasons we talk about the liability of a church security team. Well, here's one where I think could be huge liability for not having a security team or not doing our job. So we need to be on the ball as security teams, make sure we're paying attention to strangers that we don't know. And statistically, remember, we've talked about it before, statistically, the lone male that you don't know, that's not a member of your church, you don't know them, that is a person you want to pay attention to, just statistically. Not being biased, but statistically, that's who we're looking at to cause, that's potentially causing issues for community violence, workplace violence, and certainly church violence and church issues, because we're in the community. So I'm beginning to formulate the idea that I want to talk to you about, and that is the other side of the coin, and that is, how about the liability for not having a church security team, where we're not trying to protect our people, and suddenly could it become a situation where people are suing us because we didn't provide security to protect them in this vulnerable situation? And I'm just throwing it out there because I want to be forward thinking, and I don't know of a case with similar circumstances like this that we're talking about. But this is a child who is abused right in the middle of our service, right in the middle of all of us, right in the middle of the congregation. And this is a big deal. And so now we have to start looking, I believe, at what are the costs. And if you're a church leader, I think you got to be thinking about this. What are the costs of not having a security team? It's maybe uncomfortable to put a team together, and we're worried about it. We don't know what to do exactly. But I think that we might need to be looking at stretching and making sure that we do have a security team, and making sure that that team is getting a little bit of training at least. And as security team members, we need to make sure we're paying attention. The cell phone can't become more important than our duty. We've got to be on duty. We got to be paying attention when it's our turn to be in the lobby, when it's our turn to be watching the auditorium. We have to be paying attention, because I think things could happen in the future more like this, where we could possibly get sued. And I have not heard there's a lawsuit pending over this, but it hit me today as I read this information that it could be a big possibility, given the terrible situation here that occurred right in the middle of our service, right in the middle of our congregation. So think about that. Think about getting more proactive on that security team. And if you're on the team, being more proactive in our church and our work and our on-duty time. So thanks for joining me today. Hey, don't forget, there's stuff right here. If you're watching on YouTube, you're right here below. We've got all kinds of stuff, equipment we recommend to help you get started or to beef up your team. We've got courses down below to train people. We've got free stuff down below, links. You can also go to our website, churchsecurityanswerman.com. That is our hub of information, where we've got all kinds of freebie stuff for you, and basically everything that we want to do to help you is linked to that site. So thanks again for joining me. I hope you have a safe and secure week.